way, Pete.
Hmm?
Awesome interview.
Oh, thank you. I've got to thank, well, we're live. Hey, welcome everybody to season 4, episode 4. Wow. 2020 season 4, episode 4. Oh, hey man, the numbers have aligned. Put your crystals in your pots. Let's rock this house. Fuck, it has been a long day. But yeah, welcome to, Saturday. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in chat and on the panel, and just would like to wish Tyler a happy birthday. You're the oldest
Happy birthday, Tyler.
20-year-old looking guy I've ever
Thanks,
met.
bud.
Oh, did you say you were again? 63?
30.
30.
Yeah,
Somewhere. A number, who cares?
It's all the same at this point.
Well, bodies won't matter pretty soon, right, Pete?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Get rid of these useless fleshy things.
I will be the first one to sign up to become a full conversion cyborg.
Yeah.
I'm right
I'll
with
be
you.
like, sign me up for 300 million. I'll be the 300th millionth person. I'll see how it goes, and then I'll take the updates. Yeah, I'll take the updates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Was that crab mod that he got? No, that's just one of the early ones, makes them move like that now. Every time you switch a microwave on, you can tell the early mods. They're the ones that freak out in the corner. But yeah, I would actually just like to say a big thank you to Eagle for time this morning, and also to like cascading that in chat, and GMF, you guys in chat. I was so sort of tired, like didn't quite know what was going on. And I was reading through the comments, this was going back to the chat later, and it was like, oh, thank God people were like fielding some of the stuff. And interestingly, I would like Chris, hey, Chris, to see you in chat, like say, talk about the minder. If I was on as Peel Grow Systems, I would have really banged on about the minder, because that's, that bit. But on as Operation Grow, it was kind of a bit more, don't like sit there and plug a product. But no, absolutely excellent. It was great. Wow, a whole bunch you have already. Nice. So what's everybody been up to this Saturday? I mean, it's been fucking cold and miserable here. Bong, bong, bong. Yourself, Tyler, what have you been doing on your birthday, sir? Going out, living at large, hitting the strip club by yourself?
Everything's shut down, man. Everything's shut down still. We're on stage 2, so
driving past the strip club.
There's a Zoom Pass now. There's Zoom Pass now, so.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. Well, later tonight, enough of the tequila. Hey, you never know what might happen.
Joining with the rye.
Hey, woohoo! We can, and with Chris, and I'm sure Chris could probably recommend some digital robotic assistance. So you're drinking rye, are you? Is that what rye is? Is that the Jack? Is that what you picked up?
Yep. I wanted to grab the whiskey, but they're out of it, so I grabbed the rye instead. Single barrel. It's got a good taste. But
okay, so that's a rye whiskey as opposed to what other whiskey were you hoping to get? They're blended whiskey.
It just a straight. They 2 different bottles named whiskey. One's whiskey, one's rye. I think one's the Irish whiskey, more of a cream base.
If it's Jack Daniel's, then one is going to be a sour mashed whiskey. So it will be made with basically a lacto-inoculated mash, a soured mash. That'll be a standard, Jack Daniel's whiskey. Then a rye is actually the earlier form of whiskey we had in America, because rye is a much hardier grain. And so it was commonly grown and used for making booze, because it's got that peppery kind of flavor to it. So that's just more old school as rye. I like rye.
Yeah, that's kind of what the moonshine, like rye. It's a rye whiskey. I mean, that's what I know. Like traditional moonshine would be, because it's the rye being used in just the grain being grown, I guess.
Corn and fruit too.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here, especially for moonshine, it would be corn and then straight up sugar. But then you would use rye for your flavoring agent. Rye would go in just to give your mash some character.
Yeah. No, nice. And yourself, Lefty, what have you been up to, sir?
Ripping my house apart, man. Getting ready for the move.
Now, did you? Yeah, I don't want to say did you don't say anything. So, were you owning the current one, and sold it, or no?
Now we own our house that we're in now.
Okay. So you're taking everything that wasn't listed on the contract. Oh, it didn't say light switches. Dink. I've seen houses where people have done that, where they went, that wasn't on the bill of sale. It's coming with us, and they strip like light sockets, light switches, plug sockets, the lot. You're like, you petty fucks.
There was one in the paper actually yesterday. They did a walkthrough the day before, and they moved in the following day. The hot tub and jacuzzi was gone. Gazebo, everything was just gone. They're like, "What the hell?"
Oh, that's
wasn't
nuts,
the contract.
man. Oh, that's crazy. Hey, and we've got Keith from Black Sail Markets joining in. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
What's up, Keith?
Yo, how's it going, guys?
Good. Hey, look at that. He's got the microphone plugged in this time. Hey.
I was going to say, man, it works a lot better that way.
Call back. Yourself, GMF, how have you been doing, sir?
Can't complain, just mouse hunting. It's that time of year where it's getting colder here, so they're trying to find ways into houses. So just the last few days have just been, I've literally torn my house apart too, just making sure I've got all the cracks sealed and, stuffing Brillo pads in them and then filling it. So, it's good times with home ownership. So that, and I think our little experiment's probably ready to get unjarred, so we can do that later if you want.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be very, very interesting indeed to see how that comes out.
Is this the reveal show?
Yeah, I guess. According to the protocols I read, it's going to need a little time to air dry now, but we can at least get it out of there and get a look at it and see what's going on.
When you say a little time to air dry, like how many hours or days?
Well, according to the protocols I read, they said you could air dry it up to 3 weeks. What I'll probably do is stick it in my MyHerbs now and start drying it in there. And then after like 24 hours or so, I'll pop it into a bigger jar with a hygrometer, seal it, test it, pull it out. If it needs to go longer, it will. So I have a couple of the MyHerbs now, though. So I like to use those. I'm a cheater.
Nice. No, excellent. Yeah, that would be cool. We could definitely get onto that. Absolutely. And so yourself, Keith, how have you been? So what have you been up to?
Doing really good, man. Sorry.
Ooh.
Yep, I'm doing great, man. Just building lights. I've got a new logo that I'm working on that I just fucking love. I can't wait.
Nice.
I'm just waiting on my friend to finish that, but I should be throwing out some t-shirts and some new stickers this week. I'll send you guys some fucking stickers for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
My new light I'm about to order this afternoon.
Oh hey.
Oh.
Bro.
Good.
Upgrades.
I'll be sitting at home tonight building it for you like a good boy. I'm not going out this weekend.
Nice.
I'll drink for you.
Oh.
And other than that, man, my Orangegasm is looking pretty.
Oh yeah. How's that coming along?
Oh, dude, week 7. I'll share a little picture with you if you allow me.
Absolutely. Hold on 1 second.
Please.
But it smells like sweet oranges. It's definitely getting frosty.
Go for it.
Yeah, and I've my clones came out well. They rooted well in the Root Riot cubes, and so I'm saving the biggest one and the frostiest one. But yeah, there she is in week 7.
Sure.
That's fucking nice, man.
Chunking up, and they've still got a little over 3 weeks to go. So,
very nice.
Compost teas. I think I'll probably give them one last compost tea and then let them go maybe like 2.5 weeks to finish without anything but water.
Well, I mean, Tyler, how long did you? Never try and find.
I just chopped it down to 80 days. 80 days on the button.
Yeah, 80 days on the button. Yeah.
Easily go 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and And this
it went nice, beautiful purple.
Like I've got a picture of it here. So this is your one. This is it, yeah?
In a fabric pot, 3 gal. Yep.
And that went in on like straight water for ages, didn't it?
24 days.
Oh, 20, yeah.
What did you say? That was in a fabric pot, Tyler?
Yep.
Oh, that wasn't the
Golden Goat. No, this is the.
No, that's yeah. The runt's going down tonight. That'll be 126 days, I believe.
Wow, that got the real sativa. Now you see, that's the outlier that's got the real sativa bit out of all of those other ones.
The buds look incredible, man. I'm so impressed by it.
I tell you what,
fuck.
Bet you
called it. You called it.
Kick your ass.
I can't wait.
So, dude, re-veg it. That's the one. Re-veg. See if you can try and re-veg it enough to the point where you can take a cut from it.
There's actually a couple branches that aren't fully developed. I'm going to take cuts from it tonight. So I'm going to take 3 or 4 of them, keep it going, because it looked amazing. It was just so funky throughout the entire grow.
Yeah, get some pictures of it, because this is kind of, so chances are that all of those traits are like highly recessive, which is why it's the runt, and it doesn't show up very often because it takes a hell of a lot of so many things have to meet up for all of those recessive traits to get together for it to be expressed. They're incredibly rare. I mean, recessive doesn't mean bad. It just means it gets dominated by another trait.
It developed, like, I'm going to say about 7 colas the size of my fist just throughout.
Wow.
And I had to chop half the plant off when the tent collapsed. So it would have had 14, 15 easily. Like, it would have produced.
Nice.
I was
nice.
That Orangegasm is that one that Pete just showed. It looks way different than everything I've seen from Orangegasm so far. That was an orange you showed, right?
Yeah.
That it was, yeah. I got 3 more clones of it in the back.
So I would say definitely run it. Try and push it closer to the 80 days. I would say
80 days in the button. It came down.
But yeah, yours looked like it really had a lot of that platinum in it. It looked like a platinum phenol. Picture you just showed. Yeah, it didn't look.
Not the biggest bud structure, but they're heavy and dense. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, you got quite good yield off it. Actually, what was it? Was yours off the Golden Goat, wasn't it? You got a really decent yield off that one.
The best plant, I'm doing the clones of it cuttings this time. So I got 4 of them going this time, but I got just under 10 ounces. It was like 9 3/4 ounces of one plant first run. I was impressed.
Yeah, off one plant. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like 218 grams or 215 grams, something like that.
15.
So there you go. I can testament to the combination of of the environment, the nutrients, the genetics, the lights, that roughly what to expect. I mean, I don't know. You weren't growing Golden Goat though. I mean, I would need to compare everybody's weigh-in results for the Orangegasm and see did it all come up similar, or because the size of the containers were the same, the genetics, were the same family, the nutrients were all the same. The only thing that was actually different was the lighting and the environment, based on how people were controlling it and what growing style they wanted to use for their environment was the only difference. So we still need to collate all of that data and show it in see if we can see if there's any correlation between certain environmental factors and what the outcome was. And the lights you're building at the moment, Keith, those are still the current Canon style ones, or?
Yeah, I've got my Canons in there. I've got them turned up to like around 1,000 watts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that like 1,000 watts true draw, or is that 1,000 watts emitting?
Well, equivalent.
1,000 watts true draw.
Okay. So like 1,600 watt equivalent in the HPS, almost 2,000 watt equivalent in the HPS space. If you wanted to, for the same degree of light efficiency, you're going to have to really step it up in the HPS or the HID space. Let's not just say HPS. You're going to have to really crank it up.
And as the weather gets colder, I turn them up a little bit more. I had them at 900, and now I find that I can go up to 1,000 and still have the perfect temps. So I'm hoping over these next few weeks to really blast them, because I like to run 11-13. So I like my PPFD to be a little bit higher, just to make up for that extra hour. And then instead of adding extra daylight towards the end, I can just crank up the intensity.
Do you find after a certain time period your leaves start to droop?
I mean, in veg, I really have to like turn the lights down to keep that from happening. You know, and I've been kind of interested in how that's going to be affecting my growth rates and stuff like that. I'm going to be playing with that in the future. But in flower, it's never really been an issue. I guess I do my wattage calculations, and I do like my recommended coverage areas based on that maximum intensity of like a 12-hour day in flower.
Yeah.
Like that's where you want like 1,000 ppfd is if you're doing a 12-hour day, because otherwise, you know, you'll go over the daily light integral doing that for 18-20 hours a day. And I'm just not sure if that's productive time or not when the plants go from like this to just like for like 3 hours at the end of the day. I'm like, fuck, man. And then you lower the light intensity and they stop doing it.
Because they don't hit the DLI. I mean, when they hit that DLI, when they max out, it's just like they go, all right, we can't absorb any more. So whatever extra you throw at us is just a waste of time. So they're kind of asleep, but they're still got the light that's keeping them from tripping out. So what you need to do is run that high intensity lighting up to the point where it trips the DLI and they go, and then you just drop it from 1,000 watts to 250 watts, which is just enough to stop them flipping into flower. And then as soon as it, you know, so you go 1,000 watts for 8 hours and 250 watts for 3 hours, and then, you know, it kicks back into the dark. And that way you prevent them, because all it is they're just going, okay, timeout, I'm done for the day. It's not negative per se. It's just that they're not getting any additional benefit from the extra light now. They've absorbed the maximum. You just don't want them to go into flower early.
I noticed when I ran my orangegasm, it was in the center of the tent, so it got most light evenly spaced. After 17 hours, it would droop down. So I guess DLI is what you called it. And then in flower, it was about 10.5 hours. It drooped down, looked like shit. But before then, it looked amazing. That's why I was asking Keith.
And Keith, you have 4 cannons in a 4x7, probably running at about what, 250 then?
Man, I built all my lights out of like my old 240 drivers and like heat sinks that get too beat up to even like, you know, straighten them out and sell them or give them away and stuff like that. So I've got like 3 more heat sinks. I'm going to end up building like a few more cannons for myself when I've got some more space. But I've got 5 of them in there right now. They're running at 200 watts each. I mean, the main benefit of running them at a lower drive current is that the lights are going to last longer, you know? Like I tell people to replace their 320 watt cannons in like 3 or 4 years, and mine are probably going to last about 5 because I only run them at around 200 watts. But yeah.
Hey, saying hey everybody in chat there. Yeah, no. Did you have a further look into the PC, CPU, and GPU coolers, the fan assisted radiator? Because it's yours, but just fan assisted.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lower profile. You didn't have a further look into all the ones that actually have the radiators with them. So it has a radiator that you can stick outside to blow cold air off that then circulates the water over the chip.
Yeah, no, I thought about it, man. I've got a prototype for a really low profile light, and I'm testing it out now in my veg tent, and it seems to be doing pretty well temperature wise with just like a beefy kind of 1/2 inch thick aluminum fin heatsink. So I have kind of an obsession and like a dedication to just being purely utilitarian. Like I want to make the cheapest possible, most efficient, highest wattage light possible, because that's what's going to get your fucking job done.
Yep.
And if I can do that without adding even a $40 component, you got to figure that's like 60 or 80 bucks added onto the retail price. And I'm shooting for, with this next fixture, I'm shooting for 2.3 micromoles per joule and $1.66 per watt. Yeah, I'm really fucking proud of that. And I'm not like, I'm not looking to add a single penny to the design, because it's just got everything it needs and not one fucking single thing more.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
I would love to give it a whirl with just trying it out to see how efficient those are in terms of cooling a Cob LED down, so that you can have, multiple Cobs in a wide panel with air-cooled radiators, just one attached to the back of each Cob, so each one is being cooled independently.
Well,
I'm love to see it, dude. If you build it, you better send me pictures, because that sounds fucking dope.
It can be done.
I'm looking at the same thing, making almost like if you look at dice face, five Cob lights in my 5x5, so each plant gets its own light individually. That'd be it. I've been looking pricing that out, and yeah, I can't get close to those numbers though. I'm kind of curious how you do it.
That's Keith's secret sauce. He's not
yeah,
trying to give that
I don't
away.
want to ask. I understand completely. That's why I haven't bothered asking. But yeah,
wait till after the show. I'll show you some of the pictures I've got of Keith, and then he'll quite happily tell you how he's doing it. But we'll just wait till after the show.
I see you had the yellow bikini as well.
Who do you think had it first?
Can I ask a silly question?
Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys were all using Irie genetics, right? So you've grown the Orange Gasm. You guys have all grown their Golden Goat as well.
No.
Okay.
Last season 3 was everybody bar Tyler grew Orange Gasm, Tyler grew Golden Goat, because there was an issue with.
Hannah Post sucks. I'll say it out loud.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
So
I just was
had
confused a little.
Golden Goat seeds.
It came late. I got it, but you guys suck. I'll say it.
And so that's why Tyler was growing Golden Goat as opposed to Orange Gasm on that one.
Because it was a parent plant. I had other ones to run, but that seemed to fit most of the line.
Yeah, it had similar-ish. Yeah, it was one of the parents to Orange Gasm.
Yeah, I think it's a female.
So yeah, so actually speaking about like season 4, of course, I mean, which is all about the different plant training and stressing techniques at low stress, etc. How is that coming on along with everybody? Have you guys been Lefty? Actually, we've got, I think these are your pictures, if I'm not mistaken.
Some gorgeous pictures.
So this is with, so if anybody wants to know what super cropping is, that would be a very good example of it, where it's been pinched enough to bend it over like that. And that's where it'll knuckle up.
Now, Lefty, I got to ask you, when you go to super crop that, do you pinch it or do you just like slowly work it over 90 degrees?
What I do is I pinch it, and you can feel where it's rigid in them stems. And it's almost like a pop. I just squeeze it until it pops, and then I squeeze it like, you go like 90 degrees the other way, and I'll squeeze it the other way, and then I just kind of roll it a little bit in my fingers until the point to where it almost wants to fall over, and then I just stop. And usually they'll just kind of fall over on their own. I never force them over. If you force it over, you need to roll it or crush that cell wall a little bit more. But I never force them over, just because when you do that, I've done it once and I won't do it again. It like fucking snapped it.
Yeah, you much higher risk of that happening. Yeah.
Trust the wire. Yeah.
You're gonna snap it. So what I'll do is you'll feel that cell wall in there break down, and you almost see like a little bit of a bruising, almost at first. And
goes kind of yellow
down, just leave it alone, and they'll flop over on your own.
Yeah, you can see it there. They like bruise that it gets. So now, Lefty, then in terms of, okay, so this, I'm assuming this is the one that's different. It's got a blue marker in it. So that's the different one. Okay, so this front left, is that the left alone, done nothing to it? It's just basic maintenance.
That was taken this morning. That was the plant that was super cropped. I super cropped it last night.
This one in the front here?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And what I do is I just super crop it right at that top node, kind of.
Oh, there. Okay, there. I see it. Yeah.
I super crop that, the tops of the nodes all the way around.
All right. And then, okay, so this back left one then?
Pop and twisted.
Okay, so that hasn't been super cropped. And this one
when
here,
did you
that's
stop
the
popping
heavy
twisting?
leaf strip.
I pop and twist them until they won't take a pop and twist anymore. When you get up towards the top of the plant, it won't pop and twist at a point. You know what I mean? All you're doing is you're just twisting the branch.
It'll go right around like a corkscrew. Yeah.
And so these ones and this back right is
a leaf strip plant.
Just the leaf strip plant. Okay.
Yeah, because aren't we gonna like pinch or leaf strip or do something on that one?
Yeah, no, that was just to do a couple of, do the aggressive leaf stripping on it. So at the end, what we're going to do,
during flower.
Well, yeah, follow whatever the regime for that is, but it's that what is the outcome in terms of, does it improve yield? Does it improve quality? I think what we'll find is my null hypothesis, or the hypothesis being that the super cropping and the stem popping will improve the overall yield of the plant without having to provide additional support if you just let it go without trellising it or supporting it. Those two methods will allow you to have greater yield, whereas the leaf stripping is triggering the plant's natural defense mechanism and it's being eaten. So I need to produce more terpenes and cannabinoids and gooey gunk to keep animals away from me and don't eat me. You're going to get less yield, but you'll get more of the terpenes possibly being, okay, so that's the hypothesis. The idea is to see if it actually happens. And with the other guys, with the fourth plant, that's the control, when nothing's being done to it. At the end, when everything gets chopped down and weighed and compared, it's compared against the control plant to say that's the one that had nothing done to it. And if that comes out with better terpene and better yield over combination of the two, then you go, right, stop wasting your time. You can save X number of hours a week or per grow by not having to go through all of this, because it doesn't actually make a difference. Or actually, if this is what you're trying to do, if you're an extractor, you're going to want to go for leaf stripping, because that's what boosts the terpenes,
resin production,
all the resin and the oils, and that's all the stuff that you're after, as opposed to just getting more bulk plant material to work with. Which, if you're a flower person and you want to sell flour or whatever, when it's based on weight of flour, then or you don't have the ability to support the plants, you want to save some money and want to improve your yield, you can't do trellising or yo-yos to hold everything up. Just, it's a handy trick. But there we go. Yeah, that's the experiment for season 4.
What I found interesting too with this, Pete, is I'm flouring out the mom from the cut of these that I took the cuts from, and everywhere I also super cropped the top of that just because it got so tall. And everywhere that I cropped it at, right at that knuckle, it's getting extremely resinous right at that knuckle. And I've never seen that before. So I've
noticed that through my history with growing. Anytime I snap the plant, within 6 inches of above and below, those buds will generally be more resinous. It's just, I think it's a stress factor. It's like, hey, what the hell's going on? Something stepped on me.
Yeah, exactly. It's that I'm being eaten something, and I just need to defend myself against it. You've got, plants do it. They have that, I mentioned on the.
Let's give them hives.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. That's why I say it.
It's exactly that defense. And remember, THCA is an acid, so it's an irritant. It's one way. So if it thinks it's under attack, it'll produce more of the irritant, so you're likely to get a boost in THC or THCA, which ideally we could convert it down into what we're interested in. But yeah.
Yeah, I know all about it, man. When I get fucking just sticky ass hands and shit, and it's all kind of a little bit sticky, like all the way up my arms. You
touch
know,
your
that
face
shit. And soap won't touch that shit. Soap somehow just makes it stronger. You gotta get isopropyl alcohol in a rag and like.
I do use vinegar. I hate to say it, but it burns the little cuts, but it works like a charm.
Olive oil.
Oh yeah.
Just washing your hands in olive oil works really well. Oddly enough, something like natural peanut butter would do it. Anything that's oil based, because the resin is oil soluble. So that's why oil or alcohol soluble. So I mean, rubbing your hands in peanut butter. As you come out of the bathroom with your hands covered in peanut butter.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you lick your fingers. Yeah, to finish it off.
Gets you highs.
You know what happens on your birthday in Canada is you get peanut butter jelly sandwiches delivered to you?
No, the wife makes you a cake. That's it.
I got
yeah, you can also use I like using Dr. Bronner's soap, and then to like use as grit, baking soda, and that really helps to like pick up everything really quickly. And you just rub it, and then it just comes off. But yeah, Dr. Bronner's is a fat base. It's hemp and olive oil. No, coconut.
Yeah, and again, coconut oil, if you make edibles and you've got coconut oil, just take a scoop of that and just rub it all over your hands.
Yeah, even better. Coconut fat is so cheap. Like,
and you'll absorb it. I mean, the nice thing is, it'll give your hands a good. They'll be all.
Yeah, they'll feel tingly.
Yeah, they do. That's the weirdest thing about it. That's definitely something I noticed when you use it. It's like, oh, I've got pillow fingers. Time to go and I wonder if I can get fingertips pierced, Let's see how much of a painkiller it is. It ain't that much of a painkiller.
Doesn't work that way.
No, not quite. So
this Clayton Bigsby is insane, Pete.
Yeah. It looks like it's having that sort of effect, dude.
I'm not ready to go run around the house a few times. Jesus fuck.
What kind of lineage is that, can I ask?
It's something I just played with and put together. It's TKNL5 Haze by Putang. And then it will it'll make your heart beat a little bit and make you want to go run around.
Nice. Oh, did you get to try something that was outdoor grown? Is that the outdoors? Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. I know you had the indoors, but that's the outdoor from
underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went up and made some hash with him last week. I showed him how to do a little bubble hash, and he had some samples for me. And
nice. Well, that's
good
right. To know.
Nice.
Yeah,
does well outdoors and indoors.
What's that?
It does well indoors as well, doesn't it? I mean, yours wasn't too bad. You were pretty impressed with it, were you not?
This is the first run of it. I haven't.
Is that the first? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So who knows? It's crazy though.
I got a question for you, everyone else in the panel. When you guys do a strain, do you guys run it at least 3 times to be sure you've dialed it in? Like I do 3 times. I'm not sure why 3 times, but that's before I rather keep it or get rid of it.
Yes, I would say definitely. Yeah. First run is never the best.
The first one, you figure out what it can handle if you go too hot, too cold, like the nutrient feed, water, environment. And the second run, you're like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Third one, you dial in further, and then you go, okay, I keep it or I don't.
I like popping seeds. For one, if you don't have space to keep stuff around. To keep stuff, man, it's space. You got to keep, you got to keep a cut. You got to keep some in the cloner. You got to keep in veg or flour. I mean, you always got to have it, and you always got to have space for it to where
plant count.
Yeah, you have it, and it's good.
Yeah, I guess so.
Dude, there's so much out there. It's like I like variety. It's like, it's a good cut, but it's like after a while, it's like, Jesus, man, how many more times do I want to open that fucking jar?
I haven't come across that. I find there's certain strains that work for my anxiety and depression. And that's about it. Like that's what I use it for, and I have to stick with those. Yeah.
That's a different case. If you're actually using it to medicate for something and
Yep.
you find something that works, yeah, you definitely want to keep it. I do that. I do that with my wife's strain. I found something that works. I found a good,
Exactly.
so it's like that's my space. So yeah, I can't keep a bunch of shit, and I like popping seeds. So
yeah, I wish I could pop seeds all the time, man, but I got to keep it. When you talk about keeping a mother plant or just like a keeper, I find a solo cup. I've been keeping them there for a year and a half, 2 years, and not having any issues root wise. As long as you keep inoculating it with like a like an enzyme to eat the dead roots, it's been working okay.
yeah.
Like that golden goat, it's been working fine.
Mm.
I just love the flavor and variety that you get from seeds. Like you might get a runt in the bunch, but I just feel like it's worth it to me. I can't just constantly have one jar. I can use that one strain for a little bit, like 3 weeks. I can go, 3 weeks to a
Yeah.
month, and then I just switch out.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean you can't have like keepers that you switch out that work for your body.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think it's a little different
sometimes.
because
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on, Pete. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, I find the situation being that I've had, cousin Chips had to keep one going, constantly because it's cut only, which I think they're going to actually use that as one of the inputs for the breeding program, because actually what's interesting, we can keep keep one of the parent line, but it would be interesting to work it a little bit further down and see what it could produce if crossed with another known stable land race and
I
play
was
around with
curious
that
when
a
that's
little
going to
bit.
happen. I'm glad.
Bases and things like that, I think they're limited on that. But they're the catches. I mean, I find it's nice to grow something for quite a long. I mean, I enjoy growing it for ages, actually. I really enjoy being able to get to grow it and go, okay, I know what that plant will take now.
Like
I find
maybe
the
it's for the
struggle there to
plant
find
count.
yeah, exactly. A plant count thing
Yeah.
makes it difficult to go like,
I'm a little lucky. Like I can keep 9 strains going without without any issue. So it's
that would be nice.
yeah.
If you've got
I
the
find it works
space.
with me. I get bored. I keep a mother plant and go on with my life.
So do we want to go over again what we're going to use for a breeding project?
I'm good.
Raptor,
Yeah.
is Raptor going to be involved in our breeding project?
You want to be involved, Raptor? You're welcome to be in on it if you want to.
Sure. I
I mean, it's
actually was going to expand, and speaking of plant count, I have a 12 plant count that I could expand at any time, and I literally pop 6 seeds every time, and very rarely it doesn't do they all go to a female. So I'm usually way under my plant count. So I
oh,
was
nice.
gonna rearrange my room, basically take out some stuff that doesn't need to be there and add in at least a veg tent. And I really want to push. I really probably don't even need a mushroom tent. I could just stack some monotubs, and that would be fine, and hang a light on that because it doesn't need
Hold the
a.
phone. You have a mushroom tent?
No, I was considering it, but I was down. Yeah, I was actually
Okay.
really considering it, but I could just stack some large monotubes on top of each other in a corner and, you know, call it done. Just wait from
I
there.
want to pick your brain on that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, feel free. Feel free. I don't
Will
want to
do.
take over
Will
the
do, man.
show though. Yeah.
No, yeah.
There's other people that are involved in mycology in here too.
Yeah. We should
Yeah.
definitely do. Well, I mean, I Raptor, I mean, I feel terrible. Don't you have a channel sort of going down that direction in terms of all of that?
I was considering it. But I want to get like I haven't even I guess fruiting is the wrong term, but it's a normal term. I haven't even fruited my mushrooms yet. I'm still at the agar stage. I accidentally fruited some lion's mane because it was a wild strain of lion's mane, but it fruited on the agar itself. So
Oh,
that means
okay.
that's the genetics that I really want. I was talking
Yeah.
to my
Aggressive.
biologist friend. Yeah, and he was like, put that, like, even before it happened, he was telling me, if you
Yeah.
you're the best thing you can get is a wild strain
Now, I would say
Yeah.
that what you
because of
should do
the
is, I mean, from with this right, but what's good is to be keeping a record of what to show that, because that's what
oh, of
people like
course.
to see is
I
like
I've been
not just
I've been
when you
taking
know how to do it,
pictures.
but it's all of
Yeah.
that, it's like those skate videos. It's all good and well when you see those professional skaters landing those amazing
Mm.
tricks. What's way more entertaining and more like, okay, they're just human like us, is watching
Well,
the 27 outtakes, the 3
what I want
trips
to
to
do
hospital
is
to get
my
the
bad,
take.
Keith. Yeah,
Sorry.
what I would like to do is work on my spreadsheet game a little better. It's pretty bad. Like, I tried to look at some videos and I was just like, I look at a lot of stuff at night, like, and do the rest during the day when it's daylight. But yeah, that stuff was just putting me to sleep. Fuck, man, I really want to get this because it's so efficient. It's so efficient and very useful. And you just leave all the data there and it does everything for you. And you just type in what you're looking for a year, 3 years, 10 years later, and it's all the same. If you kept up with backing up your data as well, I have a couple terabytes just lying around that can be used up for all this stuff. So I've been prepping over the last couple years. I don't like just running headfirst into stuff.
Mm.
Uh, that's why I've been showing what I've been doing because it's just kind of been a long time waiting for me. And some people were like, "Oh well, you
It's been
should wait
impressive,
and
man.
see."
Mm.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's I just like having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, see painted ladies
Yeah.
in the
Painted Lady, how's it going?
yeah.
Great,
Speaking of
great interview, by the way.
Yeah, with
So
yeah,
Eagle. Yeah. That
you
was
painted
in
late to
EO.
both Pete
Yeah.
and Painted Lady.
and I was watching Painted Lady on the EO show the other night as well. Um, and actually, what I did want to say, on top of like, for this plant breeding program, and we putting it out there, we do want to get some female plant breeders to join in on the program. At the moment,
There's your cue.
it's heavily biased in one direction, and I think it would be good to bring another perspective to the whole equation, because I do think as I said, I think people look for different things, and yeah, that would be interesting. So please, if you are out there and you want to be involved, get in touch. Follow at Operation Grow 2019 on Instagram and reach out that way. We'll be in contact. I tell you what, I think now might be a really good time to take a look at that cob. Let's see. So this has been. You're gonna have to
Put
talk
down
us.
the knife. Put
Yeah.
down the knife.
Not that bad, man. It's okay.
All right.
So,
So this has been, I'll go over the procedure really quick again. So we started off with 75 grams of fresh cut off the plant. I lined the bottom with, I don't know if you can see that, with leaves, and I lined the top with leaves just to kind of give it some sort of ability to release from the glass. So 75 grams went into here. I actually put 2 wooden dowels on either end, 2 wooden plugs, and then I compressed it in a vise to actually get all 75 grams in here. So then it went for 24 hours at 40 degrees Celsius, which is about, what did we say, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So that went for 24 hours. Then I opened it, squeezed it again with the vise, and took out 29 grams of water. So we went down to 46 grams of material in here, resealed it again under pressure, and then put it back in to a water bath at 30 degrees Celsius, which is like 86 degrees. Yeah, something like that. So then I have just pulled it now. I put it back in that water bath at 30 C. We went 3 days at first, and I don't know if you can see, this is darkened up quite a bit. It originally stayed pretty green, especially those first, couple days. One procedure I found had it pulled at 3 days, and I didn't like the look of the color of it. It wasn't kind of what Pete had talked about, and Pete had showed me by example. So I let it go for a full week, which is where it's coming out right now. It has retained its compressed shape. It's actually only about this big. It's under pressure too. I don't know if you can, like that won't flex. That's one reason I know this is fermented, because it's produced gas. And that's one way we can tell that it's actually gone through some chemical change. So now I got to even open it. I may have
You're gonna have to call the missus.
Yeah, right. I may have to compress it really quick before I can open it. That, and it's wet, so that doesn't help.
Oh, there we go. Now with the excuses.
Sorry, catch me up though, genetic memory. What was your starting material and what is the final product going to be in this process?
Well, Pete can probably tell you more about the final material, but what I started with was one of my little just home projects that I play with. It's PCK by Superdog.
Hold on, but genetic GMF Black Sail, do you know what a Malawi Cob is? Are you aware of what? No. Okay, so Pete, do you want to do?
I'll do a quick screen share of what is a Malawi Cob.
Yeah,
So
because if we're just describing this, he's going to be way out in the field. Yeah.
So, like there we go. That's a good example of what it's going to end up looking like.
What is?
So this is Malawi Cob, and this starts off as a lot of weed that gets traditionally is rolled up in a corn husk and then wrapped up tightly and buried in the ground and left alone for 12 months or however long they decide to leave it for. And it's like a fermentation cure. So the modern way that people have started doing it is they've started messing around with doing it in vacuum sealed bags, and then they've sped the process up into doing it that way. And what GMF went for was going down, instead of using vacuum sealed bag, the experiment was to use essentially a warm water bath. What would be the correct sous vide water bath, keeping it at 40 degrees for the 24 hours and just treating it in a jar rather than doing the whole vacuum seal route. And the idea at the end is that you get this ferment cured weed that is incredibly dense. It's already activated, so you can eat it, and it'll get you high. It's very potent, and it's like really sought after back home. We used to, if Malawi Cob came through, you would be like, yeah, let's go and get that. So yeah, it's a very traditional, old style. Well, I say traditional African way, and from that part of the world. Crash course in Malawi Cob, and it has like a really peppery taste, but it's probably a lot to do with the weed that they're using, and they throw everything in. I mean, you're going to find seeds, and the whole lot goes into this. It's not primo top-notch bud, and it does look a little bit like an owl coughed up a pellet, or your cat turd got dried.
Like, is it like hash where you want to like crumble it on some tobacco or what?
Yeah. So I mean, it's dry. It goes dry and quite hard, so you have to like cut it up and grind it up, smoke it in a pipe, or you could roll it up. I mean, you could mix it in with other herb and get like even more fucked up.
How would you compare the strengths and effects to the original product before it went in through this process to the end product?
This is much more potent when it comes out the other side. Substantially more potent when it's done right. Yeah.
And I was just curious, how would you compare this to like hash, like Moroccan hash? Like is it below? Is it above? Is it like kind of equal?
Different. I mean, This was always a lot more racy. I mean, this isn't sedative. This was never a sedative high. That's for sure. This was always quite a like
get shit done.
Yeah. It kind of really hits you quite hard. In terms of okay, it's at least I always found it to be the case.
Would that weren't you mentioning last night on the interview that in that area when you would bring like the heavy stuff, like the newer stuff, they'd be
Yeah,
like,
they
"Eh,
don't
I'm
like it.
good." They don't like it.
Yeah.
They like to get work done.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
not
the
about getting locked into your couch for the afternoon. I mean, what's the point in doing that? It's like, yeah, I want something that, like, you know, I'm still going to go out and walk 20 miles across the fields to get shit done. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. It's like, I got to get it done and I don't want to feel hungry while I'm doing it. So yeah, this will do nicely. Thank you.
well, I just like that compared to hash. Like
Mm,
basically all the bubble hash I've had was just sedative. So this is a very interesting method
yeah.
that I'm interested in because I don't want to just be like in the couch all day long. Uh, I like to get work done.
Yeah.
I left when I left undergrounds last weekend. I left him with a little nice chunk of my temple ball. And he was telling me later in the week that they decided to partake that evening after I left, and that everybody fell asleep watching TV that night about a half an hour to an hour later after smoking that temple ball.
And lefties,
Comatose.
I have sleeping issues, so don't get me wrong. I used sedative strains to get to relax me at the end of the day, at the end of the night, and just
Can I ask you
settle
what you
in.
use? What strains you prefer? I'm very curious. I have the same issue.
Sure, sure. I've just been messing around with some stuff. I found that for me, I deal with anxiety as well.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a mix of all those things kind of accentuating each other. I really, really like the 9 pound hammer. It just really settled
Okay,
me down. Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
haven't
you've
experienced
never
that
heard?
yet.
Oh, that's jinx proof genetics. Yeah, yeah. He's known for his 9 pound hammer.
Okay,
I really liked
I've
it. I
heard
had
the
a
strain name. I haven't had experience with dealing with it yet.
Yeah, yeah. I like it. He always has it in stock, and I'm
Oh,
sure there's times that he has sales too. And with a lot of his purchases, they might not be sales, but he'll throw in one of his testers. So
nice.
like I think he's working on like
I'm not laughing at you. Sorry, I'm laughing at
No,
um,
laugh.
Black Sale Markets
I can smell
tit
it.
for tat with Runboy 7426.
Oh, he's in here yet?
Big spectrum deficiency.
Hey, Raptor, have you tried Blue Magoo yet?
no, no. What's in Blue Magoo?
Um, it's been around a
What's
long
the
time.
red?
It's one of
That
I'm
just
sure
got up to
Pete. I'm
Canada,
sure
man.
Pete can bring it up. Yeah.
it's one of Professor P's strains, but I
Okay.
believe Blue Magoo is supposed to be really good for anxiety as well.
Good. Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that really draw me away from some of the racy stuff. But if you just uh
From clone only
di-
strains or dynasty seeds?
Yeah, it's Dynasty Seeds. It's
It's
Professor P stuff.
it's Blue Magoo BX2 is all they've got. So that's probably, I mean, I'm talking about on EU Seed Finder. So while Genetic carries on doing his work out there,
Well,
I
I,
think it's about to get real.
I think he's
I
done.
think the back cross too was to actually focus on the shorter stout of the plant. I've been following that one
So
closely.
this
It looks very, very
is
good for me.
some Afghani Thai.
so Thai Afghani
Nice.
giving HTA, so Temple Flow, which is,
Blueberry by Williams Wonder, basically, it looks like to start with.
Yep.
and then
Yep.
Blueberry Line. And then, well, to start with it, oh, geez, yeah, it gets all the way up to
All right.
Blueberry Williams and Wonder. And that was crossed with Blue Heron,
Got a little bit of Hawaiian and Northern Lights.
The
which
Blue
gives you Blue
Heron,
Magoo 2. That's the
the
Blue
Blue
Magoo 2.
Heron is
Blue
fast.
Magoo is this one here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I see.
It's a 9 week strain, is it not? Or like 10 and a half, that range?
So this is, yeah, that's just Blue Magoo. What do they say on here? What the flowering time is?
seeing as I have kids, I wait for sales. So
You see, I hope DJ Short in this instance gets credit for all of the Blue Magoo that gets sold. Ooh, controversy. Because he put in all the effort to create the mother. The person that made Blue Magoo didn't go through all the arsake of creating the mother. You know, that's the person who did the work, not the next person. I'm sorry to say. You know,
wait for a debate to hear about that.
Yeah, changed my mind. That isn't the case.
When you're ready, this is open.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, let's get started.
Woohoo. Okay,
Yeah,
everybody.
We were buying for time.
Yeah, I wanted to pop the seal so I could hear. I was just listening to the gas escape. There's quite a bit of pressure on this damn thing. The smell is weird. It's almost like, what's the best way I can do this? All right, what's jumping to mind? Fruit punch. It smells like Tahitian treat or Hawaiian punch.
And what is the original? Okay, so the plant material, when you have this normal flower, how does it come across?
Like I describe it as like kiwi and cleaner. So it smells a little like, I don't know if you guys have gooseberries. I've grown them here, so it smells like a gooseberry. A kiwi is just a gooseberry. They're all very similar in that way. It's not a very strong smell, but like when you start cooking with it or make it into jelly and stuff, or you eat it, it's a little more noticeable. So
it's a very natural smell.
Yeah. It smells like gooseberries and a little bit of like an aseptic cleaner. That's the PCK by Superdog. That's what it smells like normally after it's got like 3 weeks in the jar cure. So this is definitely fruitier. Yeah, it definitely smells more like fruit punch than it does just kiwi or gooseberry. Like this is definitely more, the smells are more than I would have expected out of any jar that I cured for a month.
So
and that's only been how long so far?
This has been 1 week.
1 week,
and 3 days. So 10
was
days.
with fresh plant as well. It wasn't. Yep.
Nothing dried, nothing cured. It was literally, I cut it off the plant when I was waiting to get on Fumador's show that night. I sat and cut, and as soon as I had it trimmed, it just started getting crammed in here. Like I didn't dry it, I didn't really clean it for nothing. Like I said, I just used some of the big fat leaves to line the bottom of this to try to make it easier to get out. Wow, it's
you got
solid.
75
right.
grams in there. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, wow.
75 grams was like coming out of this thing. So I used these wooden bungs that I use for kegs. This is how I seal the side of a keg. They basically, my kegs are steel, but they look like old wooden barrels. So because of the kind of weird ferments I do, so I still have to put these in the side. So I just literally.
The same concept. Go on, sorry.
No, I just literally use these to compress all 75 grams in there.
Same concept as the stainless steel buttons I use for making hash, press hash. You just cram it in there as much as you can.
Yeah. So did it all drop out then?
Not yet. It's just basically, it is a puck, that's for sure. And it looks like it's going to form kind of layers.
When you say layers, do you mean like
there's the top
liquid?
Okay, yeah. And if you hold that, so that looks very similar to, the coloration, and that is very similar to the pictures that you see online. Actually, it's gone that kind of mottled brown and green.
Just before you think it's gone moldy.
Well, and I think the reason it doesn't mold is because of the lactic acid. Like when I pulled out that little bit of liquid and tasted it, it had that lactic acid taste. And this.
Wait, you tasted it?
I taste everything. If I make a ferment or I make something, I taste it the entire
kudos,
way.
Man. Kudos.
Yeah. So there it is.
You got a better stomach than I do.
Oh wow, there's the rest of it.
Yeah, that's all. It's all just one. You still see the leaf.
You want to hold that up so I can see the side? Yeah.
That looks
more?
like
There you go.
That looks like proper brickweed.
in that.
Yeah.
And then that's that little layer that came off the top. This is just because I think there's a big
man.
stem sitting right in the middle of there, so you can
Didn't
kind of
even
see.
look like it was separate, to be quite
No.
honest, until you took it off.
It just naturally did
it looks
that.
like it's perfect. Yeah.
So I don't know. I can see about smoking some of it, see if it's dry enough to smoke. I think it may need just a little time air drying. There's some on the top here, I think, that was in the jar that'll probably be dry enough to light on fire. But I think it's just going to need a little bit of time to air dry, and this little bugger will be perfect.
I'd say at least a day.
All right, now let's see how ballsy you are, buddy. I mean, take a little piece and have a chew on it and see, because I mean, naturally it gets eaten. You know, it's not something that just has to be smoked. It gets chewed on.
So I just put it in my lip. The flavor is not bitter. It's not chlorophyll-y. It's got just a slight tang to it.
No,
like very slight, and you get a lot of the fruit character.
Interesting. So this becomes a new category at the next Cannabis Cup. Excellent. I want to see the Cob cure, the cure section where, fuck what it looks like. It's how well did you cure? How does it smoke? How does it taste? I should be able to eat it raw. Now, this is where it becomes an interesting food additive because you're bringing out the flavor. You're concentrating up a flavor profile that could make it a really interesting food additive, and it's already activated. You don't have to decarb the damn thing.
So
okay,
if you're,
now that my saliva is getting into it
next week, I'll definitely come back for that. I really want to see you smoke some and hear the smoke report.
Yeah, that's because
all right. Now
you did small scale. I want to do large scale. Like I got a bunch sitting on the side here that's freshly wet. So
I'd recommend waking up in the morning, Tyler, with a sober head before adventuring down this route of, hey, I've got a whole bunch of fresh here that
I hate to tell you, I used to be an alcoholic. I'm still pretty fresh at it.
All right, let's see if we can get some of this to burn.
So you were just saying about it now breaking down with the saliva?
Oh yeah, I can feel it. When it's I got it where I used to chew in high school for wrestling, so it's how I would cut weight to make weight class. So
same here, man.
Threw it in. Yeah. So I just threw it in the place where I used to chew all the time.
Like not eating shit. sorry, it just took me back to high school.
No,
garbage bag, sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The flavor is slightly rosemary. Just very slightly rosemary. It's got that just little bit of green flavor to it, which is very pleasant. Like I could actually see this on lamb or something like that, and it would be excellent. It's got that fruit flavor to it, especially when after I get it into my saliva and I rub my tongue against the roof of my mouth. That's when you start picking up more of those fruity kind of characteristics. But yeah, this is not at all unpleasant. Like I could literally do this for hours. The lactic acid has apparently, I for whatever reason, I think it's given it a good flavor in that it's a little sharp, but it's not sharp like when you get that really chlorophyll-y taste out of some, RSO, or if you've ever made like, I've put together basically a home version of absinthe. The Ted Brow is a biochemist, and he's found from old bottles of absinthe that they think the actual active ingredient was cannabis. So I've whipped up like some home batches of absinthe without the thujone, and that tastes a little chlorophyll-y. It has that kind of chlorophyll flavor till you water it down and it clouds up. So this has a more intense version of that flavor, of the flavor of fresh extract.
When you say it's chlorophyll-y, yeah, go ahead, Raptor.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, how do you think the lactic acid broke down the chlorophyll, or at least lessened the intense flavor of it?
Probably
Same
that's
time.
it. Just by
Same question.
Yeah. By creating that acid, you're basically creating something that's going to be very reactive. Like any acid, it's going to have an electron to give up. So basically, by making it gave it something to bond with, basically. So, and I think a lot of that would have come out in the first 40 hours or the first 24 hours in that hotter bath. That's really going to produce the acid and get most of the reaction. That's why I think when I tasted that liquid, and I've still got it in the fridge. If you guys want to see it, I'll grab it.
Yeah, please do. I'm kind of curious.
Shot.
Yeah, oh God.
No,
No one's died
this
from weed yet.
I've been curious in this process. I've been very. I got the means to dry or cure this way better.
Yeah.
This is how I know that I didn't get any. I don't think I got any THC out of it, out of the water process, because even though it's been super cold, nothing's set up, nothing's solid. Like, this thing is crazy cold, and there's no wax, there's no nothing like that floating on the top. When I first did it, Ozzy noticed a tiny bit of, said there could be wax that's floating on top. So all I did was, after I squeezed the water out into here, I took a spoon and I just carefully scooped that little bit of wax off the top and put it back in. That was it.
Okay.
And I think what you'll find now is that, again, that flavor and that's going to mellow out more as it's left alone. I mean, that's still.
You feel?
Oh yeah. It will definitely mellow with time.
Oh wow!
I've tried it personally. I've tried it, and yeah, I will say the same thing. It will mellow out.
Okay. The liquid now that's been in my fridge for a week smells so much stronger of all the green plant matter, like the chlorophyll and everything.
Well, wouldn't it just be a concentrated form of chlorophyll? That water substance?
Maybe?
To me, it doesn't. It doesn't dissipate. It simply condenses.
Yeah.
Sorry for
and that's what I think I've got right here in the liquid. So let me find out.
To me, you would cook with that. Oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting, man.
F's in chat for GMF.
This is how we do food science.
Yeah.
How we do food science.
I swear to God, if this is the show, like if this is the whole show, you guys have 100,000 subscribers in like 6 months.
We'll just sit around and watch GMF taste weird things.
Yeah, but it's only right? If you're making something, you gotta fucking test it, man.
Yeah.
So this is all fermented as well.
When you get your mycology going, buddy, you know what channel you're coming on to. Tell us how successful the mushrooms were.
Oh yeah.
Really, like a little bit of warm coffee when it washes over that little bit of chew. Oh, that's amazing. Like the flavor combination of a warm beverage with a little bit of this, like I can see this going in straight into a cup of tea. Like just boil some water, drop a little of that in, and drink it. I mean, this together with a warm beverage. This is really good.
We've started a revolution.
How's about if we introduce some alcohol into that?
Well,
like steep it.
It's slightly
alcohol. Because this is fully activated, we shouldn't need alcohol to do any of that work, because we've already done it using lactic acid. Now, alcohol, when it hits common chemical sense cells in your mouth, it's actually the same cells that pick up alcohol, CO2, and cold, right? So a different set of cells are the ones that pick up heat and spice. They're not your aroma cells. They're not your quote unquote flavor cells. They're common chemical sense cells. So I honestly don't know how this would play being super cold in your mouth. Flavor wise, when it's warm, I'm getting a lot of the fruit. And especially if you ever had a coffee that's got like a lemony flavor to it, or a fruity coffee, the two of these go very well together flavor wise.
Nice.
Any feelings coming in? Tingly feelings?
I haven't smoked anything yet today. I wanted to get on here with a completely fresh head, so I just basically tried to sleep as late as I could, and I waited out the day for you guys. My wife thought it was weird.
Dedication to that, man. Strong stomach and willpower to make it through at least more than 5 minutes after waking up and not getting stoned. Well done, sir.
You, sir, are not a test rat. You are a test go.
Let's see. There's a lighter. Okay. So let's see if we can get this to burn. If not, I have a creme brulee torch that I could lay to
We're
it.
gonna get it to burn one way or another, people.
Yeah, that would definitely burn it. Like
I
that
guess
some
if it
gasoline.
doesn't burn, if it doesn't burn now, it'll definitely burn in a couple of days when it's a lot drier, I guess.
Not quite
We
strong enough to burn that way. I'm gonna grab a torch.
there was a question.
I love this.
I
Oh
believe it
man,
was
brilliant.
Matt Steelbird. He was wondering if he could press it, like once it's all dry, like under a rosin press. What would that do? Is the heat and the pressure added on to already being preheated and pre-pressurized?
Yeah, I wonder actually. I mean, you might squeeze some oils out. Could do. Because the pressure you're going to hit it with a press is going to be
It's different, yeah.
substantially more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get
you
at. That it was
definitely
already
get out of
pre-pressured.
it.
That would be interesting, actually. Yeah.
Was that black
God,
steel?
we started a whole new sub-industry.
You trying to say something, black steel?
This is a creme brulee torch. So all you guys who spend money on butane torches and stuff for your dabs, get one of these. All it is a head, and you buy the canisters. These are fully recyclable. You just pop it on, twist. Got all the fire you want. So these are much better than those torches. The torches they sell you to refill your own butane. So let's see how this works.
Yes, Chris, it is already decarbed.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. As we watch what could be the first live televised cannabis death.
Flavor wise, I don't really get any of the fruit on smoking it. It's more, wow, it's a lung expander. Like normally I can clear a whole bowl in one hit, and it might just be the moisture, but that's a lung expander. Like I can feel it in there. Normally I clear this whole thing in one hit and I keep looking for more.
Yeah, you inhaled a lot of vapor.
Yeah, it's a lot of lung expansion. Flavor wise, it's actually a little more, and this is going to sound weird, the flavor's a little fuely. And I don't think it's the creme brulee torch because I use this for food all the time. And I've never tasted it in eggs or anything like that. I use this for cooking steaks and stuff. I'll sous vide my steak and then just, it's perfect. So I don't think it's the torch. I think, yeah, we'll have to dry it out. I'm going to put this, because I am a fan of the My Herbs now. Shout out to Scott if he's out there. Holler at me, by the way, Scott. I haven't talked to you in a while. I miss you. So I'm going to put this in the My Herbs now for a day, and we'll see if we can't smoke more of it in a little more, like in a joint or something. Because this is still a little wet. But yeah, I could definitely. Yeah, even now it's got a little bit of that
were
head
you
rush.
going to keep it? How long were you going to keep it in that My Herbs? And for anyone that isn't aware of
Maybe
My
only a
Herbs,
day.
just a quick 10-second rundown of what it is and what it does.
The My Herbs now, I think we should actually all try to contact the guy and give him some support because I think he got screwed over by a bad batch of product coming in from China. So his company is now in, I don't know if they're still active or not, but I've been trying to get a hold of him. So I think those of us in the community, he's definitely an entrepreneur out of Michigan that we should try to support. The My Herbs now, basically, he took the form factor. So he went to a company that made food dehydrators. He uses the same form factor, but it's an entirely different set of controls inside. Basically, it doesn't use a heating element. All it does is actually create increased air movement. So it'll drop the relative humidity of whatever area you put it in by 10%. So you can literally use it. Like I get really humid in the summer here. So I will use it to dry instead of like 96 hours, it'll take like 6 days, but that's still, 6 days to be able to hit the jar is pretty good around here.
And
So,
GMF, what's the difference between this and a dehydrator used for like drying food?
Temperature. Basically, this doesn't heat it. The motor inside creates a little bit of heat, and that does help it achieve that 10% flux that you need to get things to dry. But it doesn't actually have a heating element in it like a food dehydrator does. Food dehydrators actually got to raise the temperature as well. This doesn't, and that's why it actually works well for the plant matter that we're trying to do. So, like me, I grow lamb's ears, and other kind of little greens and stuff, and I might throw some in there at the end of this year too, just to see if I can save them for the winter as a dry product. But that's the real difference. It doesn't use much heat; it just uses air movement. And so far, I have to admit, Scott, bang up product, man. We got to get you back on the market, bud.
And I think the other difference is it's not trying to dehydrate it down to zero. It actually doesn't try to go below a certain point. Whereas a food dehydrator, its purpose is to remove all the moisture. This is probably going to just bring it down to like 45% and hold it at that level and not go any lower, because you don't want it to be bone dry. Not unless, of course, you want the Colorado experience. Hey, Lefty, as we know. Oh, of course, blacktail markets, key. Yay. Why are extracts popular in Colorado? Because, yeah, it's the only way to have something that resembles moisture.
Well, you said it perfectly, Pete, and that's what I was trying to get at. Like, I haven't experienced it myself, but I just keep hearing good things from everyone that has one. And just the same thing. It doesn't dehydrate 100%. It
Yeah.
it has set parameters. So while it does dehydrate, it's not a full dehydrator.
Yeah. I mean, I still want to see like something like that. To me, the product improvement on that, if they're listening, the bit of product improvement is to put a load cell in it, and then you regulate how fast you're dehydrating it, and you can have different program settings for it to do it at different paces depending on what kind of effect you're looking for.
Oh, yeah, that's a little racy. That one right to my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can feel that one in my eyeballs.
So how long did that take? Like 3 minutes, 5 minutes? How long was that puff? Let's say 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe something like that. And then keep in mind, I'm chewing on a piece at the same time. So I don't know how fast any of this is going to kick in or what kind of day
probably
I'm in for.
Doubled up.
Yeah. Might make an interesting day mouse hunting.
Oh, dear.
But so far, I mean, flavor-wise, you can see that most of the negative flavors probably got taken into the water. Most of the gluconates and the things that we don't really want to taste and stuff, it looks like they've largely been bound up with the lactic acid and gone into the water. If I had to guess, that would be my assumption. It's kind of like when you make yogurt, it'll separate out, or when you make cheese, you get curds and whey. I think that's what we've essentially done, is made whey and curd. The curd being the cob, the whey being right here. 29 grams of whey.
Now, what can we do with that? That's the next question. Can you what would be interesting to get
a glass for it?
Yeah, after you, Tyler. Go for it, mate.
Well,
By the way,
season 5.
Season 5.
Season 5.
We
I'll make a top right now. Let's go.
He'll match you shot for shot. Come on.
So why wouldn't I use this though? Like the KNF guys use their lab serum. Why wouldn't I just dilute this down and then use it either in watering or as a foliar?
Do you think it has the nutritional value?
Beneficial.
I was thinking more of like maybe a topical, using something like that rather than going back into. But that would be interesting to figure out, get some analysis done on what's exactly in that. That's
because will it even have any benefits to the plant at all at this point?
Yeah, like is it broken down far enough to be absorbed, or is it just it's fermented, but it's not obtainable to the plant?
Well, the fermentation is how it gets things obtainable. Like in a living organic system, that's the bottom of the food chain. So when I feed, when they talk about feeding sugars to, your water, putting molasses to your water or putting stuff in, that's actually the first step on the food chain for microlife, is a fermentation. That's what we call it when we see it. They just call it eating and shitting and peeing.
I guess that's true. If you want to break it down to that point, I guess that's. Damn you organic growers.
I know, I'm an organic weirdo.
What is beer? What is beer? But
I'm allergic to it. I don't know.
And farts.
Oh, well, not missing out on much.
Yeah.
No, but my birthday is the
you're not.
last day of Oktoberfest. I'm in Kitchener. It's like a world-renowned thing. It's terrible. It's
Well,
a beer
maybe
festival.
GMF can help you with a microbrewer that like get
Yeah.
I don't know what normal beers you would have, but I my understanding
Any
is when you
microbrewery
brew
in
it,
the area has died because of COVID. I hate to say it, but the last
uh
one, Abe and Air, is gone. They announced on Friday they
that's
closed
sad.
down permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not much of a
it is.
drinker, but I am
Hey
looking
guys.
into making some beer myself
I
after
was gonna
watching
contact
GMF.
Kombucha?
GMF on making whiskey.
Yeah,
Like I want to make my own nice whiskey, and that's
yeah,
No
yeah.
problem. I'll walk you
yeah.
through it.
Yeah, I only mention the
Well,
beer because it can be probiotic as well if it's fresh.
Well,
yeah,
and more
true.
so than
So that
probiotics,
might help.
like, okay, this beer that I just pulled right here, because it's a home brew, because it doesn't get anything filtered out of the bottom, there is an entire day's supply of B vitamins in there. So if you were some, low class commoner and you didn't have any other access to decent nutrition, you were eating wheat gruel and shit, like that was how you were surviving. This is what got you through the winter. Because down here,
Did you
in this
say
little
low class
layer,
commoner? Sorry.
yeah, especially
Just
You
the
like
way
in
damn
you
medieval
reworded
peasant.
Europe.
that.
Who are you calling a low-class commoner?
Yeah. In
Just
medieval
because
Europe,
some
this is how you
tar
survive.
gave you a sword?
What's it taught?
Thank you,
They
Pete.
taught
Thank you for
me, and
getting
I
that
took them
reference.
my right? They put me away. No, that's
How
how
you
you got
doing,
your B
Lefty?
vitamins.
You still with us?
Yeah, man. What are you
You
doing?
live? Yeah.
No,
I
good.
can tell Tyler, there's something in the beer that he's tried that he's allergic to. You can switch out damn near any
No,
ingredient.
I'm allergic to hops. I hate to tell you, I'm allergic to hops.
Oh, okay.
Even certain breads
Okay.
does it. I know what it is. I avoid it.
Mm,
So I drink
mm.
whiskey.
Wait, tell me,
Certain types.
what is it?
Hops.
Hops.
Okay, but you smoke cannabis.
That's what I was
And
just
I
gonna.
break on hives.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I break on hives every time. Yeah.
Now there's a drug you're
Okay.
doing for one of the side effects, not for the other. The side effects are so good, I'm prepared to put up with it.
What
Well,
do you
no,
do about the hives when you smoke?
a lot of reactant.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had no
I literally
idea.
have. Yeah, no, it's been with me since I was a kid. I've been smoking pot since I was 15. I got high since then, so I took reactant. But then I got an allergy test when I was 22, and I'm allergic to hops. So
Oh, the one thing you don't want to find on that allergy test is cannabis. Like, no, do it again,
and
do it
and
again.
then they prescribe me it. Like, hey, guess what? This is what you need, but you're allergic to it. Just so you know, do you take that or some atypical antipsychotics? I was like, yeah, I'll take the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather scratch my arm a little bit than like deal with the backlash of all that bullshit.
Okay,
I was prescribed
when
a
you
lot of
say
that bullshit, so I'm not, yeah.
okay,
Go ahead.
when you talk about scratch your arm a little bit, I have it's called contact dermatitis. So what happens when I smoke pot? My body thinks it's an allergic reaction to my skin, so I have like scales everywhere. I hate to say
I
that, but
see.
like I'm a lizard boy. Like, is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it's much different
Yeah,
reaction than just like
yeah,
that would be a minor reaction of what you have. And what you have is much more,
yeah. So I get
yeah,
highs, but
much
then it
more
breaks out.
intense.
Yeah, yeah. So I have scales. That's why I wear long sleeves all the time. It's just who I am. It's
Mhm.
I make a topical rub that'd probably get rid of that shit.
I was
See, I
actually going
think,
to ask you guys about that. Like I've been debating with CBD. I find when I smoke CBD 1-to-1 ratio, it tends to dial back a little bit. But yeah, I still have it just from natural agitation, scratching, whatnot, rubbing against stuff.
I use it 1-to-1 to make my topical rub, and yeah, it works really
Okay,
well for like psoriasis, stuff like that.
perfect, man. I'll contact you after the show.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, bombs are awesome. I'm sure Pete has a couple recipes too, especially
Well,
for
yeah,
his tattoos,
yeah, use it for the
or
tattoo. Oh,
before
you
and
guys have
after, I should say.
gone all weird. Yeah, probably something like the. I mean, I'm at well, I've got to try it without any of the extract in it to see is it the beeswax and the cannabis. I mean, beeswax and the coconut oil itself that's actually doing all of the
I'm for science.
the benefit side of it, and rather than just claiming, oh, because it's got this in it, that's what's doing it. The basis of this morning, which was very much You know,
I can tell you right
I
now,
want to be able
Pete,
to justify the claim somehow, measure it.
with my contact
Oh, yeah.
dermatitis, beeswax does shit all. The combination there, it needs an active ingredient. So what I
Yeah.
generally make is I take Vaseline, petroleum jelly, and a hydrocortisone,
Yeah.
1% ratio, and I mix it together. So
Mm.
it's cheaper than buying the prescription, which is like $80 if you don't have benefits. So
Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
That's better. Less blurry, although that's kind of how I'm feeling. It was a really good visual
Aren't we
representation for
all?
a moment.
I use both.
Well, I tell you what, that sort of brings it up to an hour and a half. I think we've. How are you feeling there, GMF?
I was just gonna say, Pete, you wouldn't kid, man. This shit ain't playing around. Like, this is gonna be a good day.
I imagine so,
he's-
man.
Nice.
Fuck.
Could you average how much do you just hit in that bong?
What'd you
Like
say, bro?
how much you put in your bowl just now?
Oh, literally just a tiny, like, just a fraction. I didn't even get through all of it. 'Cause it's
0.5?
still wet in the middle.
Oh.
Probably not. Well, I could try to find a scale, but keep in mind, like Pete said, it's super dense. You know what I mean? So I honestly don't know what a fair comparison is. And then
You could just
this that
say
I'm chewing
exactly
on
like he
right
was saying.
there is just about the size. It's smaller than my fingernail. What I'm chewing on is smaller than my fingernail.
Hmm.
So I don't know if this is doing it or the bowl that hit first. I don't know.
And you're continuously getting that fruity sort of flavor
Yeah.
from that in your mouth. Yeah.
Until it dries, I'm betting the flavor of the cob itself when smoked is still going to be a little weird till it's dry. But I think that's why I'm getting the flavor like just straight up when I'm chewing on it. So like, yeah, so far I'm going to call this a win. Like there's no molds, there's no mycelium, there's no nothing. It looks in good shape. Now it just has to get drier to be a little more smokable. And we've cut a process that's about a year long down to a month.
But they usually
So
eat
when you
it,
go to
right,
dry
Pete?
that,
What's up?
No, that's say they usually eat it, right?
No. Well, Pete?
Mm?
Testicles. They usually eat the cob, right? As opposed to smoke it or
well, eat it, smoke it. I mean, the idea. I mean, it would be really good. I mean, I should probably spend some time and try and look more into what is the like the true tribal history of it. But I suspect it probably comes from transporting it, and they were just packing it up, wrapping it up in something, whatever it happened to be. Probably before corn, it was like banana leaves and things like that, just as a way of carrying it. And of course, over time, the ones that have been carried for longer turn into that fermented hard bit, and it's just easier to transport it around until it becomes, okay, this is a nice way of doing it, and we can use it in cooking. You can just eat it, you can smoke it. It's like the ultimate sort of like multi-purpose, like nutrition on the, it's nutritional to eat the damn thing, gets you high as fuck. But I mean, what else you got to worry about? The next warring tribe coming past, or I got to run 50 miles through the jungle. Might as well be tripping my balls off while I do it. At
I like the
least
way you
feel
think, Pete.
good.
So before we close here, do we talk about what strains we're doing for the next project, for the breeding project?
Oh, yeah, we skipped that. Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
We stopped there and veered.
And veered. Wow, well remembered, sir. So going into the breeding program, at least so far, and again, the invitation is out there to some others who would like to join. Tyler, you
Paint a
are.
lady.
Yep.
I'm doing the here, let me
Whoop. There he is.
switch that. Such a mug. There you go. So I'm going to be doing the
Hang on,
CBD hash plant to the storm shadow.
Let me put that on there. CBD
And,
hash plant to storm shadow. Okay.
And I'll be as well doing the storm shadow to the AK-39, but the AK-39 should be first because it's a female.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Excellent. And then yourself, Lefty, what are you planning on doing?
I am.
Remind us again.
I'm planning on doing. I got the seeds and everything. I'm gonna run Banana OG, and the plan is to cross it by Jeff's Arise. So
very nice.
Good plan. Good plan.
Some of those banana terps to the Arise. I think it's about the only fruit that hasn't hit the Arise yet. So I'm gonna do that and just looking to bring that banana to the Arise and put a little bit more girth onto that Banana OG.
Now, Lefty, I gotta ask you: is that banana trait a recessive trait or not? Do you know by chance? Have you grown it?
It's been pretty well worked over the years. I mean, Banana OGs and everything.
Yeah.
At this point, the seeds I have are an F3 seed, an F3 seed. So they've been pretty well worked. Anything with banana in it, everything pretty much traces back to the Banana OG.
Okay.
So I think it's about the only thing that throws true banana terps.
Interesting. Yeah. There was somebody asked that question on was it last night, saying what percentage of plants that come, or strains that come with fruity flavor names should smell and taste like the fruity flavor name. And it's like, well, 100% of them should. If you're going to call it that, it should fucking smell and taste like that. Otherwise, give it a different name.
That's why
you think, but from my personal experience, it's been about 20%.
Yeah, very rarely.
Recessive traits. Yeah.
Well, no, what I'm saying about
recessive traits.
Mm-hmm.
Like it tends to come out less frequently than the actual name of the plant.
Mm-hmm. And then again, it's like, okay, so you got this and you grew it in what conditions? That's what I want to know, because that's actually how you got that those phenotypic expressions from this genotype or a result of these growing conditions. So what nutrients did you use? It all counts. At the end of the day, these are all minor little
and
inputs,
this is
and
why
they all make a difference.
I need another miner.
Well, sir, free postage at the moment. So yeah, anybody who follows follow Operation Grow 2019 on Instagram and DM us with the code OG2020, and we'll organize you free shipping on a minder unit.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And on that note, actually, that draws us to an end of another show. Thank you very much to chat for following us and joining us. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. There is also, if you go to the channel, there's Patreon. If you want to subscribe to that, that'd be great. I think that there's a $3, which is just you really like it. Thanks, we greatly appreciate it. If you do the $5 one, we're going to start doing an after-hour show, which doesn't get aired to the public. You can jump on, chat with us, answer some questions, ask questions.
Get the little blue.
And Tyler breaks out the polka dot bikini.
GMF whips off the mask.
It all just goes crazy. So
I'll tell you right now. Cheers, everyone. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday once again to Tyler. You made it to 30.
Happy
30 more to go, buddy.
Be a strong man.
30th, bro.
Happy birthday, bro.
Thanks.
So yeah,
thanks everyone.
Message us, it'll be good. And catch you all next week. Don't forget to also follow and the Portland Tasting Society, or the Chronic Table, I think it's called these days. I think that's actually on later tonight. There's another show.
Buds, Brews with Buds.
Brews with Buds.
But it's Chronic Table on the iTunes,
Instagram.
is not?
Yeah, Chronic Table on iTunes. He's
Instagram.
Yeah, his Instagram, and he's going to be doing podcasts on iTunes. So that takes a little bit of some time, because we can go for like 7 hours. So he was complaining, "Oh, it's not fast enough." I'm like, dude, come
7 hours.
on. Yeah, it's 7 hours, man.
Good old Stevie.
Precisely. And speaking of which, if you search on Spotify, if you search for Operation Grow, you should find the Operation Grow soundtrack, which is a free shared playlist, and the podcast of the show and the various episodes is just the audio version. And you can also get that on Google Podcasts. Oddly enough, it might be on. So it's on Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, and it may be on Apple iTunes. I don't know. I applied for it, but maybe I can't remember if I did.
It's not on yet, Pete. I'll tell you right now. It's not.
It's Apple. I'm not that bothered. But I tell you what, thanks everyone, and we shall see you all next week.